This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to find out how you can volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Evolution by John Galsworthy. Read by Adrian Pretzelis. Coming out of the theatre, we found it utterly impossible to get a taxicab, and although it was raining slightly, walked through Leicester Square in the hope of picking one up as it returned down Piccadilly. Numbers of hansoms and four-wheelers passed or stood by the curb, hailing us feebly, or not even attempting to attract our attention, but every taxi seemed to have its load. At Piccadilly Circus, losing patience, we beckoned to a four-wheeler and resigned ourselves to a long, slow journey. A sou'westerly air blew through the open windows, and there was in it the scent of change, that wet sense which visits even the hearts of towns and inspires the watcher of their myriad activities with the thought of the restless force that forever cries on, on. But gradually the steady patter of the horses' hoofs, the rattling of the windows, the slow thudding of the wheels, pressed on us so drowsily that when at last we reached home we were more than half asleep. The fare was 2 shillings, and standing in the lamplight to make sure the coin was half a crown, before handing it to the driver, we happened to look up. This cabman appeared to be a man of about 60, with a long, thin face, whose chin and drooping grey moustaches seemed in permanent repose on the upturned collar of his blue overcoat. But the remarkable features of his face were the 2 furrows down his cheeks, so deep and hollow that it seemed as though the face were a collection of bones without coherent flesh, among which the eyes were sunk back so far that they had lost their lustre. He sat quite motionless, gazing at the tail of his horse, and almost unconsciously one added the rest of one's silver to that half-crown. He took the coins without speaking, but as we were turning to the garden gate, we heard him say, "Thank you. You saved my life." Not knowing, either of us, what to reply to such a curious speech, we closed the gate again and came back to the cab. "Are things very bad?" "They are," replied the cabman. "It's done with, is this job. We're not wanted now." And taking up his whip, he prepared to drive away. "How long have they been as bad as this?" The cabman dropped his hand again, as though glad to rest it, and answered incoherently, 35 year I've been driving a cab," and sunk again into contemplation of his horse's tail. He could only be roused by many questions to express himself, having, as it seemed, no knowledge of the habit. "I don't blame the taxis. I don't blame nobody. It's come on us, that's what it has. I left the wife this morning with nothing in the house. She was saying to me only yesterday, 'What have you brought home the last 4 months?' 'Put it at 6 shilling a week,' I said. 'No,' she said, 7. Well, that's right. She enters it all down in her book." "Are you really going short of food?" The cabman smiled, and that smile between those 2 deep hollows was surely as strange as ever shone on a human face. "You may say that," he said, "but what does it amount to? Before I picked you up I had 1 18-penny fare today, and yesterday I took in 5 shillings. And I've got 7 bob a day to pay for the cab, and that's low too. There's many and many a proprietor that's broke and gone, every bit as bad as us. They let us down as easy as ever they can. You can't get blood from a stone, can you?" Once again he smiled. "I'm sorry for them too, and I'm sorry for the horses, though they come out the best of the 3 of us, I do believe." One of us muttered something about the public. The cabman turned his face and stared down through the darkness. "The public?" he said, and his voice had in it faint surprise. "Well, they all want taxis. It's natural. They get about faster in 'em, and time's money. I was 7 hours before I picked you up, and then you was looking for a taxi. Them as take us because they can't get better, they're not in a good temper as a rule. There's a few old ladies that's frightened of the motors, but
Sample complete. Ready to continue?